Look, look. Here's how you know that maybe you're too close with your friends, right? When you go to log into a podcast and they know that you can hear them belting Rihanna at the top of their lungs, remixing Ella in the background. And I can just imagine you're like twinkle toes dancing at the same time. You can't do that anymore, Salt, man. You're gonna throw out a hip. We're not young enough to be doing that anymore.
I'll tell you like this, that song's still jamming. That girl is still jamming. I don't know. As soon as I hear that track in the gym, I'm like, you know what? It's about to be a good workout.
Man.
Exactly.
Man. Well,
it came out of nowhere too.
Welcome back to the Cruxman. We're on one again as usual. It's just nothing but freestyling and ad-libbing and having a little bit of the devil's water.
As you should.
Yep. And then and jamming out to some Rihanna. Speaking of, what'd you think about the halftime show?
You know what? I'm gonna tell you like this. I typically turn off the TV or go do something else. I don't turn it off, but I go do something else during halftime shows. I usually hate them. Not a fan of them. However, Rihanna killed it. I love the fact that it wasn't overdone. It was like just enough.
See, I feel like all probably the haters out there, but the critics, they're all saying like it was a bad halftime show. And I thought it was
one of the better ones in a long time.
I'm like, yo, she's 50 feet up in the air on a plank. I mean, she's tethered in, but she's pregnant.
And so I didn't even know she had a kid in the first place. This is how in the know I am. I didn't know she had a kid in the first place with ASAP. But then this is number 2.
ASAP.
Holy smoke.
Which ASAP?
ASAP Rocky.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there's Rocky and there's ASAP Ferg. And I'm sure there's more.
That whole Harlem crew. But yeah, Rocky in particular. I didn't know they were together. So I was like, wow. Congrats, all that. I was like, wow, that's awesome. But I thought the halftime show, I actually sat and I watched it from beginning to end. It had that whole old school bad boy vibe with the baggy clothes, and all. It reminded me of More Money, More Problems. But yeah, no, I liked it. And granted, like I said, it wasn't over. I mean, I'm gonna tell you this: that whole game from beginning to end, I enjoyed because Stapleton came out and crushed that national anthem. So I have a top. Now it's a top 3. Number 1, and this is like tight, but this won't be blasphemous. I'm going to stick with the number 1, Whitney Houston. Number 1, she set the standard. And then out of nowhere, Lady Gaga killed it when she did it. And I was like, holy smokes, like this lady's jamming.
The anthem or the halftime show?
No, the national anthem.
Yeah. Okay.
No, national anthems. My bad. National anthem.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't really enjoy Gaga's halftime show.
I don't even remember, so I guess that kind of tells you that. Yeah, it was because, like I said, I usually turn it off anyway.
Yeah.
However, she crushed it. She was like easy. Okay, so I was like Whitney, then Lady Gaga, and now Stapleton comes out and just. I'm talking. So when I didn't know he was going to do the national anthem, and I saw, I was like, oh snaps, Chris Stapleton. I was like, let's see what he does with it. Once again, he didn't do it over the top. He just sang it straight up with that silky smooth voice of his and crushed it. And I'm like, yo, now that's my top 3. Beat that. Male, female. I would say like for the dudes, he's on par with, the Whitneys, in terms of it just being like just a great national anthem. Yeah. He's right there. Boom. So I would say he's number 1 for the dudes. Whitney, I mean, Lady Gaga was tough too, but Whitney, Lady, I can't wait to hear. I think people are starting to see, like, maybe, I'm not going to say that. People are still going to go and try to do that 5-minute version that people try to cook up in their head and trying to kill that national anthem every time they do it. But, yeah, I mean, we'll see who else can.
Well, so, that. I mean, my wife is a singer. and she has sang the national anthem many, many, many times. I mean, she used to sing for like the San Jose Sharks, and she sings for a bunch of like air shows and stuff like that. She's very well known, for doing that. But she says she's a very by the book person, as you know, and I guess there's written law about how you can sing and perform the national anthem, and you're supposed to do it the way it's written. So these people that go out there and they string all these like they do all this fucking crazy shit, and they just butcher the national anthem. Like, yo, get out there with your powerful voice and just sing it the way it was meant to be sung,
Yeah.
And when you hit that land of the free and everybody gets their chills come up and down their spine, like that's when you know you did it right. But don't go on these long runs where you're just trying to show off your vocal ability. No one gives a fuck. Sing the song the way it was meant to be sung. And then and it's not a conversation, just go out there and, I mean, Lady Gaga has an incredible voice, I mean, I bet Christina Aguilera could kill it, but she does these runs all the time. Christina could do it. Ariana Grande, would probably kill it.
I had high hopes for Aguilera.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell just happened here?
Yeah.
You ruined it.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't a fan. So, yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you 100%.
I'm not talking shit. I'm just saying, like, keep it simple. Keep it simple.
I don't think anybody's going to disagree.
Yeah.
I don't, probably. I mean, shit, I liked Rihanna, and you said nobody else out there liked Rihanna's halftime show.
All the critics that I have seen, they're like, and I'm like, I mean, look, man, like, she's not going to fucking drop it like it's hot, like she normally does. She's got a baby on board.
And she's Rihanna. She doesn't have to.
No, she's worth
she's worth like a multi-billion dollars.
Yeah, like
I'm not dropping nothing.
Yeah,
I don't have to.
Don't have to. Yeah.
It's my ass. Everybody, haters, man.
No, haters. No, I enjoyed it. I thought it was well orchestrated. I thought it was well put together. Yeah, it was nice. It wasn't over the top.
About the outcome.
It wasn't that fucking The Weeknd bullshit from last year or whatever. Like, I
thought that was atrocious, man. I was not a fan of that at all.
I didn't get it.
That's just me.
I didn't get it.
Yeah, I wasn't. I think he's trying to do too much. I know they're trying to get creative and all that, but like for the halftime, just I don't know. No.
Put on a show. I mean, is that when you go and you play an arena or whatever, when you're just on tour, you get weird like that, or do you go out there and you do your thing? Like I love Justin Timberlake when he's live. It's just clean. He's in his suit, his tie, whatever it is. I mean, he's got his microphone. He's got his Tennessee boys backing him up, and it's all about the music and it's less about the showmanship, which is what it should be. I mean, if you're a legitimate artist, you don't need all that showmanship stuff, that showing off. Like, just get up there and perform. You think Chris Stapleton, you're going to catch him up there, like, throwing a hip out, trying to do dance moves? Nah, man. He's going to play his guitar and his voice is going to do the rest.
Yeah. Though, it kind of goes into everyone's trying to outdo each other, and this is precisely the reason why, in particular. By the way, happy Valentine's Day, everybody. This is why I hate Valentine's Day. Because you know what?
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. I hate it.
Listen, Valentine's, this is the idea of Valentine's Day is outstanding. I love the fact that to not just one, but usually it's usually that one person, but those that you care about, that love of your life significant, or the person that you are pursuing, that you could, this is like a day where it's just like, okay, like I'm gonna go for it, or I'm gonna just tell this person how I feel about them, However, this whole holiday has been ruined, similar to Christmas, in my opinion, because it's not about that anymore. It's about these stupid ass gifts. Mm-hmm. It's about dropping a crazy amount of coin. The problem is that you got all the social media where these dudes go out there and they wrote her name in the damn sky, right? Or they had a bunch of rescue turtles say "I love you" in the sand. Some stupid shit like that, right? And women see that, and they got a dude who's sitting here, just a regular guy, who's like, you know what? I just love the hell out of you, but I don't have necessarily the resources, perhaps, to go out there and do these different things. And now she's looking at him crazy.
Go train some turtles to write "I love you" in the sand. Like,
yo, now it's not about the fact that, you know what, I keep showing up every day. I take care of my end of the relationship, right? I'm not going to say he takes care of her, nothing like that, but I come home, like, we talk, we have a great relationship. I do anything for you. You know this. None of that matters. But you know what? On this day, I don't know what else to do other than here's some flowers from me to you, some chocolates. Happy Valentine's Day. Let's go. Maybe have some dinner. Or maybe actually I'll cook for you.
Let me tell you what I did for my wife for Valentine's Day, because it's a theme, right? In our conversations, I am on the road a lot, and I'm on the road again. And I I sent her the most expensive flower bouquet or whatever I have ever sent in my life. And my wife goes, "Why did you waste so much money on flowers? Why didn't you just buy me a box of wine?" I was like, "Because I was trying to show you that I love you and I'm gone and I don't know." Like, her favorite flower is a sunflower, by the way. So she loves getting sunflowers. But she doesn't like just getting flower. That's not her jam. She doesn't need gifts and things like that. That's not her thing. She's not that person. There's a lot of ladies out here that are. They love getting gifts and jewelry and flowers and da-da-da-da-da. My wife's thing, I think we've talked about this before, is just quality time. So, but I couldn't help but laugh when she was like, "Why did you waste that much money on flowers?" I was like, "I love you." I don't like. Yeah.
You know what? Let's like with mine. So I think I've bought her something.
My wife would call me an idiot if I fucking had turtles writing "I love you" in the sand. She'd be like, "You're a moron."
You know what? I prefer that type personality. So like that's more my style. And even like the doc, aka my girlfriend, she she knows that like we don't really do Valentine's Day like that. It's not really a thing. However, she tells me, because I just got back from the road yesterday. Shit, that was yesterday, right? So yeah, I just got back. And so she called me while I'm out in Florida. And she's like, "Yeah, so like I got you a little something." Or no, first she tells me, "Don't be mad." I was like, okay, I'm thinking it's gonna be something pretty bad. She's like, "Don't be mad, but I bought you something, and I'm gonna give it to you on Valentine's Day."
Oh,
and I was like, "Well, why would I be upset?" And she was like, "Well, it's because I don't want you to feel like an asshole for not getting me nothing, da da da." And I was like, "Okay, understood." But then she starts going into, "But like you could, like even if it was just like some flowers or whatever." I'm like, "Okay, so now you're telling me something different. Now you're basically telling me that I should go get something, and you're gonna make, and now you're trying to make me feel like an asshole suddenly." So ultimately, I did not.
But, my man, stick to your guns.
I didn't.
That's
listen,
right.
Listen, don't flip the script now. Like, let's not do that. And so the thing about it, so this is what I had to say about that. I was like, listen, I don't need a Valentine's Day to be thinking of you, because it's more so the thought, right? Everybody's talking about, it's the thought that counts. Now, granted, I agree to an extent, but when people say that, they are full of shit, because it's not the thought that counts. It's if it is something that if they had one thing in their head, but they got something different, you're dead wrong. It ain't about your thought about nothing. You're dead wrong. So when I hear that, I take that with a grain of salt.
If it was the thought that counted, the dude who makes $40,000 a year as a security guard in a public parking structure could pick a daisy off the side of the road and hand it to an OnlyFans model, and she would go home with him. Because
no.
in his mind, he's giving her everything Dan Bilzerian could give her.
Yeah, but you know what?
It's not the fucking thought that counts.
You know,
The
man.
only thought that counts is the come up, right? What am I getting out of this exchange?
Exactly. It's, and the thing, what's so crazy too? It's like everything is so expensive, and yet people are still going out and dropping coin on these bullshit holidays. So this is why. Okay, so like for me, I hate, and I understand. Like I'm saying this with the utmost emphasis on the word hate. I hate / despise Valentine's Day. You know what I'm saying? I really do. And Christmas is getting there with me too. I'm telling you my favorite holidays. I love a St. Patrick's Day.
Why?
I love a July 4th. I enjoy even a Memorial Day weekend.
Okay.
I think Veterans Day is awesome. And there's a common theme with these days. Even Juneteenth, I appreciate that day as well. You know why? Because now, granted, for St. Patty's, shit, Cinco de Mayo, let's throw that in there too. Granted, you don't get days off for Cinco de Mayo. You don't get days off for
St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? However, you know what those holidays actually do that these other ones that are all super popular are supposed to be doing? It actually brings people together.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not, there's no BS. Well, I have something to gain at other than like, I'm hanging with my friends. I'm hanging with my fam. We're going to barbecue. We're going to chill. We're going to go watch fireworks on July 4th.
We're getting festive too, right? July 4th, everybody's got their, Star Spangled Banner, St. Patty's Day. It's like, how much green can we put on right now? Let's go drink some green beer. It's just fucking fun.
Cinco de Mayo ain't even American, but yet we're going to go hit this bar, hell, have some tacos, some papas and beer. You know what I'm saying? But it's so simple. It's so simple. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's so simple. It's so much. It's a great time. And it's just like everyone walks away actually feeling like good.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like there's this weird screwed up pressure that comes with Valentine's Day, that comes with Christmas. You know what? Thanksgiving's another one too. I enjoy Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, people just come together to eat good food. That's it. Come hang out with one another. But those two holidays in particular, these very commercialized, go break the bank, because if you don't do it, no one loves you, basically. You know what I'm saying? I do not like those holidays. They've ruined. I didn't really give a damn about Valentine's anyway. But Christmas has been ruined. Valentine's is just like
you and I have spent some Christmases together. So I don't know what you've gone through when it comes to Christmas. I fucking love Christmas. I love it. I appreciate Christmas. I love giving to people, and I love the lights and the festive nature. I absolutely love the neighborhoods that just go all out, and then like on the weekends they're out there, mixing up hot cocoa, and they got all their lights going and everything. And then you get to one guy's house. He's like, "Yo, you want a special cocoa?" And he drops a couple dabs of Jameson in your cocoa. You know what I mean? Like that. Like I'm not saying you have to have alcohol to have fun, but it sure as fuck helps.
No one's ever had fun over a salad like that.
That's very true. That's very true.
I saw that on the sign.
Yeah.
No one ever said, well, what is it? I saw this when I was in Tampa.
No one ever started, I had the time of my life or something like that. Eating a salad. Yeah. The cranberries and the walnuts were just amazing. They were amazing.
They've got me like, woo.
And then I was like, oh my God. And I ate the whole thing. Oh my God. We had cucumber lemon water. It was amazing.
Yeah. No, I agree. And there goes your reception is shot. Probably can't even hear me. This is Apple at its best. This is just the life that we live. Every episode. Did you hear any of that?
I'm hearing you right now. Yeah.
You froze for a hot second.
You're still frozen.
Am I?
Oh yeah.
That's a lie.
My service has not changed. You are
no. It wasn't. That wasn't me. No, it wasn't me at
That
all.
was totally you.
I refuse to believe that was
You
me.
can be in denial all you fucking want, but denial ain't just a river in Egypt.
Yeah, it's you denying that apple's garbage.
I'm sorry,
So
you broke up. What?
I, you know what? When it comes to Christmas, I agree with your sentiment. I do. However, there is still this undertone of materialism, consumerism that
Oh yeah,
makes it difficult to enjoy all those things and then just that be it. You know, if you know what I'm saying? Like, and the thing about it, even if you had like some basic gifts that were just survival, not like the hottest toy or whatever, your kids are looking at you crazy. You know what I'm saying? People are looking at you crazy. And the thing is, if you and it's not just like the fam, it's even like sometimes outside of that where it's like, oh, it's Christmas time and like, where's my stuff? I don't
I mean
I don't know. Like I said, and Valentine's, I'll just be glad when I'm glad it's done. Let's just.
I think that depends on. I mean, obviously, it depends on who you're raising, who you're around.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, my family, like my little girls. I mean, I honestly, I could write them a letter, and they would just fall all over themselves over it. Like, you know, Daddy wrote me a letter, you know, or whatever. Christmas. I mean, you know, we get our kids things, but we get our kids things year round. So it's not like they get excited about Santa, and you know, and I love that. I love the spirit of the whole thing. You know, they get excited about that kind of stuff. You should have seen what my wife did for Valentine's Day for the girls. They came home. Now, granted, she spent an entire week leading up to Valentine's Day crafting with the girls. Because that's something that she enjoys doing. She enjoys crafting. The girls enjoy crafting. So they got to make all their own Valentine's things and cards and cutouts and all. I mean, they built little Valentine's huts, you know, that had little compartments, one for candy, one for like letters to friends, another one for like all sorts of crazy stuff. You know, my wife just built this stuff and did it. They painted it and glued it all together, whatever. And it was awesome. And then, you know, on Valentine's Day, when they got home from school, they came home and there was Valentine's balloons and candies, and my mom sent them stuff, you know, like I enjoy it because I enjoy watching their happiness. You know what I mean?
For sure.
But I can also tell you this, they don't expect it. Had they come home from, you know, school and Valentine's and there'd have been none of that there, they would have been like, oh my God, where's our like, they'd have been like, oh, it's just another afternoon at home, you know?
I mean, and I think that's ideal. I mean, granted, I'm not over trying to Grinch this bad boy up as I tend to always do. You know, I dig too. Like when Anave, you know, when she's, you know, is having a great Christmas, but she already knows she knows how I am. She knows how her pops is. You know, she already knows that like I'm only gonna do but so much. Like that's it. You know, but. Yeah, like I said yesterday, I think for Valentine's, like I said, all I did was I came back. I just got home. You know, she gave me her gift, and I was like, I mean, which was great. She gave us an ashtray. She knows I like cigars. She got me a custom. She gets me everything custom with my name on it. I'm like, you really don't have to do that. But I'm not gonna tell. But I don't say that. I'm like, oh man, that's cool, you know. But she's like, puts my name on everything, like I'm gonna lose it, like a little kid with their clothes or something, you know. So I'm like. Thank you. You know, and it's a great gift. It's like it's got like a place for putting my cup, whiskey, a spot to tap my ashes out, and a place to rest my cigar. All this cool stuff. And I was like, yo, I appreciate it. You know, after that, we went to the gym, grabbed a little to-go food from Sprouts, and then that's about it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? For me, it's just another day. And on top of that, like I said, luckily she knows what she's dealing with, because I mean, yesterday after all that flying and shit, I was done. I was burnt out, man. All the travel.
I feel you.
So
I feel you on that.
Last thing I wanted to do was go rush to go, and which in my mind was like, you know, I'm gonna go grab a little something just to give her something. And I was like, you know, I'm running behind the power curve. my energy is zero. I'm like, I'm not gonna sit here and lose my damn mind over this stupid ass day. You know what? You know what's so bad? Like, I don't feel bad about it. Like, I'm not mad that I'm like this. It just is what it is.
Well, what's unfortunate though is when people put that expectation on you, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the part that makes it difficult, because for me, I put pressure on me to do nice things for my wife because I want to, not because she expects it,
It's the not wanting though that makes you want to do it. Like for me, right? If I'm with a woman who she's just like, yeah, let's just keep it simple, da da da. When I have that opportunity to go all out, I want to do that because there, like you said, there's no expectation. I want to give you more because I just feel like doing that. But when you're telling me I have to keep giving you this, giving you that, or every time I go on the road, I should come back with something, you're going to find yourself with nothing.
Yeah.
Like, so it works opposite. Like I'm thinking about you because it's like, Alice, oh yeah, she likes macadamia nuts. Let me grab her some of this from Hawaii. Or she likes this. Let me grab this. Or, oh, I think she would love this. Let me grab this for her. But it's like, if I come back and you're like, yo, where's my?
That's a thoughtful thing versus an expectation. Like,
and I think that's what, for me, that's what moves me more is someone that doesn't have that stupid as expectation.
So
because now I'm gonna make sure that you expect to get nothing.
So let me flip this on you real quick, which is not something I often do. You ready? You don't expect shit, and yet she was very thoughtful and went and got you something awesome just because.
Well, she does that all the time. Yeah,
that's great.
Just like I do that all the time.
Yeah, but you should have got her some flowers. Piece of shit.
Well, it is what it is. If we got into if we started actually counting the times that I've showed up with stuff unexpected versus what she does, let's just be clear. She is well deep in debt at this point.
your dick in a box doesn't count, Salt.
No. Oh, I mean, that's just icing on the cake. But I mean, for me, it's just more so, like, this is what I like to do. Like, it's like I said, if I see something, I'm like, oh, you know what? Joe will like that. Let me just grab that. Or, this is actually something cool. It's something that I see in my day to day. It just makes me think of someone. And I'm thinking, like, you know what? When am I ever going to see this ever again? They could definitely do this like right now. And I think that's what makes it very thoughtful. It's not the consistency of the gift. It's like it's untimely.
Yeah.
And it's well thought out. And the thing about it, when it does show up, the timeliness of it.
You remember when Blair went down to Key West or wherever she went and came back with a box of cigars for you and I?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Oh man. I'm thinking like
her husband, and I was not expecting that, like,
it's crazy.
It's something so simple, but I know you appreciate it. I certainly appreciated it, and it's just like, yo, like,
yeah, like you went all the way out there, and then, she bought, of course, she's going to bring you back some, but then she's like, oh, well, I got Salt some too, so that you guys can smoke together. Holy smokes.
She supports this relationship.
Yeah, I think that's outstanding, man. Like, and like I said, like, the doc, same thing. She buys me cigars, and like now I got an ashtray. She done bought me the decanter for my whiskey, and she understands like the things that I'm into, the things that I like to do, and all that. And she's very thoughtful in that way. She definitely is. Like I said, she has no expectation when it comes to Valentine's. She's like, we don't celebrate it. We don't even have like a anniversary. Yeah, that's not like a thing, So we know we have a roundabout idea, but we don't do anything.
Yeah,
it's just another damn day.
Well, so like, luckily we are both the same when it comes to that. That's how it should be, right? I mean, look, man, like some people fall on hard times around holidays, but maybe they're doing a little bit better at other times. Like, you got to celebrate life when you have the opportunity to celebrate life. Don't just do it because it's a date on the calendar, and don't get so wrapped up in it. Like, you know, I mean, you got to appreciate folks for who they are. You know, I mean, if your man can't afford to, you know, wine and dine and Cristal and fancy dinners and all this kind of garbage, like, I mean, support him anyway. Because maybe if you support him a little bit more, maybe he'll get there. But if you just put him down, he ain't never going to go anywhere.
Shit.
I think very few men recover
change you out. That's what he's gonna do.
from being shit on by women. You know,
Man, ain't that the truth? He'll definitely get rid of you.
so
And you know what? And chicks, same thing. You know, but I don't know. Like I said, you know, the Valentines, it's all good. All these holidays. Luckily, I don't get too wrapped up in it. I just ignore it half the time, and then just keep it pushing. Like, you know, Easter's coming up, and somehow, some way, they haven't made it too much about the eggs and the baskets and all that. Like, women don't have like this. You didn't give me a basket for Easter. Oh my God, you're horrible. They don't. You know, I haven't heard that yet. But I'm sure that's coming. Where they want chocolate bunnies and stupid stuff like that. So I don't know. It's it is what it is.
well, it's very different. That's very different perspectives, though, right? I mean, you're, you know, for all intents and purposes, you're a single man, and I am a married man with 2 little kids at home. So holidays are going to be looked at differently. I mean, you and I have spent a lot of holidays together, though. I mean, 4th of July is a riot. I don't know. I agree with you in respect to the fact that, you know, certain holidays bring more folks together. But I also enjoy like the intimate nature of, and I'll just go back to Christmas because the one that kind of comes to mind, when I really don't want to be around anyone else but my wife and my girls Christmas morning. You know, if you're there, that's one thing, right? I mean, you're like family to me, but you know, or maybe at my grandmother's house, you know, every couple of years or whatever, because I love waking up and doing Christmas with her. But I love, you know, starting my own traditions with my family, you know, and that's what we're doing now. And that's, you can talk to Blair about that, man. It's been a constant thing. It's been a constant, you know, emphasis item for me is I'm like, I want this. Anytime we do something that I'm just like, this was awesome, I'm like, this should be something that we do every year now, right? It should be customary. It should be a new tradition. I mean, whether it's her and I jumping on the Harley, you know, and getting gone for a few days, or, you know, I do that trip up to Idaho every year. You know, I'm thinking about having another one where I host in Vegas, you know, every year, and just starting something like that. Like these little things and family traditions as well. I mean, every year I have one of my little girls, you know, put on a Santa hat, and they're Santa that Christmas, and they, you know, go and they read the names and hand people presents, and, you know, we open them up. So it's just little traditions, man. I love that stuff.
I think that's cool, you know, and I think that's exactly what it's supposed to be for, is that it's a family thing at the end of the day anyway. You know, I don't, I enjoy the holidays when I'm home. I do. I don't know. Yeah. That doesn't happen too often anyway. So, you know, I don't know, man. It's, holidays to me, you know, like you said, holidays can be tough. I think more so that's probably why I'm more of the Grinch type as it is. Just because, I haven't really been around my family in quite some time. Yeah. So I kind of became like a zero fucks kind of a guy. You know, now granted, like when I do spend it with my daughter, like it's outstanding. We have a great time. I love watching her be like, oh, Dad, it's Christmas. Yeah. And, you know, we just get to hang out and whatever. This Christmas is going to be epic for sure. We'll both be in a place that I love and she's going to grow to love. But, yeah, like these holidays are, they just, you know, it's, you know, what's on top of that too, man? Like, it's all just a big facade. You know, it's you know, you look, it's like being online, you know.
Well, it is. I mean, I heard that
great times and beauty and all that.
It made I know it's over $1 billion. It's $1 billion industry
I wouldn't doubt it.
for one bullshit made up holiday.
Yo. So if Valentine's is doing that, imagine what Christmas is doing.
Oh.
And all I did was sell flowers and chocolates.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but then, you know what? A lot of people got married, right? A lot of people, or, you know, a lot of people got engaged. But then on top of that, nobody talks about the people that got dropped within the last week because Valentine's is coming up. Maybe their side piece became Jordan. That person now went on the bench on their little roster. And now they're just like, you know what? I'm going to spend Valentine's with this other girl or this other dude. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to talk about how this is like, oh, yeah, it's the time of love. A lot of people are making that switcheroo.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so this, once again, this is me going to the evil side of things. My bad. Valentine's Day is amazing. Okay. I hope everyone had a great time. I hope a lot of babies were made. I think that's outstanding. And that's all I have to say about it.
I was in a hotel room. There was no babies being made where I was at. In a hotel room by myself. Hey, let me 180 this real quick. Let me 180 this real quick. I love this conversation about holidays and Valentine's Day and watching you put on your fucking Grinch hat. But
for switching it.
Yeah. So something's been in the news a lot lately.
What, these balloons?
These fucking balloons, man. What is going on?
You know, I think it's so dumb. I don't, you know, because now it's like a finger pointing contest. How long have they been there? Oh yeah, I believe we first saw them back when Trump was in office. Oh hell, but was it? Or was it just Biden just saying it? I don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? Stop with the finger pointing. Are they recon balloons or not? You know what I mean? Like, what do they have to do? Because now, you know, China's claiming that they're research aircraft, whatever the, you know.
How is that
research balloons
any different than a recon?
Well, so they don't. That's what I'm saying. They're not sure if it's a militarized. Well, yeah, exactly. You know, and they said that they flew off course and ended up in the States. So I don't know. They're gonna tell us what they want to tell us, and then we'll find out. Like I just saw something else my sister sent me. It's like they left from some island, basically the Chinese Hawaii. You know, a lot of people from China go to this particular island, Hainan. I want to say Hainan, and but on that island is a military base. Okay. It's like a naval base, and they say that the balloons started from there and made their way out. I think it's become like, I mean, you know what? It's so crazy. So like you got these balloons going up in the sky. You got Michigan State, the shooting that happened there, which I just heard about that. Was it yesterday?
What?
No. Oh yeah. Apparently I think it's like 5 or 6 dead, something like, or, you know, 7 dead, 5 wounded, something like that, or flip those numbers. But they don't know the motive for this kid that went and was a mass murder on Michigan State campus. You know, and I'm like, so that happened. But like I said, I don't know any more details. They said they didn't really know anything about this guy. Oh, I saw something today. I think the father was like, yeah, well, he was never the same after his mother died. It's kind of, I just read like that part of a quote dealing with all that. But, you know, the usual horrible things are going on in the world. And the thing about it, though, is like now everybody's I'm numb to it. I think it's tragic. I think it's horrible. Mm-hmm. But we aren't doing anything about it. It's not going to stop. Like, you know, it's just not going to stop. Now, okay, here's a question for you. What do you think the answer is? How do we fix that? How do we resolve the mass shootings that are going on where people are just losing their shit and unloading on? And the thing about it, it's not just adults. You're talking about little kids, too.
Ooh, that's heavy. On the spot? On the spot, media needs to be muzzled. Media needs to, I mean, I get it, you know, freedom of press or whatever, but the media, it's the freedom of press, not use the press for your personal agenda, you know, a political stream. Like, that's not it, right? It really should be, you know, folks out here, you know, I mean, you know, look at our boy Andrew Tate, right? He should be able to be out here on, you know, CNBC or MSNBC or whatever it is, CNN, whatever it is, you know, like he should be able to be on these, you know, platforms speaking his mind, speaking his truth, him and uh, Piers Morgan, I mean, the I think the media has to be muzzled. And I mean like the stereotypical bullshit, where it's just they're spewing venom constant. All it is creating chaos. Like no one is speaking how they feel. They're saying what was scripted for them to say to create chaos, in my mind. Chaos and confusion. So we're all sitting here over here being confused. And you take guys like you and I think we're pretty educated, smart, got, solid head on our shoulders, however you want to fucking say it. So the media doesn't really influence us that much. If you take these kids out there and maybe they come from not a broken home, but maybe they come from I'll call it a broken home, but not in the stereotypical sense of the term, right? Broken home meaning like, oh, they got divorced or whatever else, whatever. Maybe they live in a home that's just broken, where mom and dad are still together. They fucking hate each other. Like treat the kid like a Matilda, you know what I mean? Like, where they're constantly putting the kid down or whatever else. Kid's never good enough. Da 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 da. They're watching the news. They're getting confused. They're on these social media platforms, getting even more confused. They're seeing what the grass on the other side is, thinking that everything's a lot greener. And then they go to school and they see these people walking around, the popular kids, the beautiful kids, the kids with money or whatever else. And they're not realizing that these kids behind the scenes, below the surface, are fucking hurting too. It's a facade, right? Social media has made it so easy to make your life seem like it's so much better than it is. And what you don't realize you're doing at the same time, intentionally or otherwise, is feeding, the frustration inside some other confused person that doesn't have the mental fortitude to unfuck themselves on the regular. I mean, daily I have to mentally unfuck myself from losing my shit, from snapping on the world, because my mentality. I hate everyone equally, right? There's no discrimination here. I don't like anybody. I just fucking hate people. I have people that I love, and I have people that I hate. And there's a very small group of people that I love, and everyone else can suck a dick as far as I'm concerned. Like truly, like I'm not trying to be overly graphic or whatever, but people suck. And the thing is, I don't think people even know why they suck or how they're contributing to other people's ultimate demise and misery. You sit here and you blast, all these things on social media, and I feel bad for them as well, because again, you peel back the layers and you find a very, very self-conscious person with low self-esteem. You look beautiful in your bikini or whatever you're doing on social media, smiling and flirting and flaunting or whatever else. And then behind the scenes, you're fucking lonely. Because dudes worship you on Instagram, if they get the opportunity to meet you, all they want to do is knock you down for a night or two, and then they move on because they're going to realize you're fucking crazy. And this doesn't just go for the girls. It goes for the guys too, And then further confusing things, you've got these fucking bullshit rules coming out now where it's like, oh, okay, an 8-year-old has the mental capacity to determine their own gender, but yet you got to wait till you're 21 to buy alcohol. You can join the military and go fight for your country and carry a weapon at 18.
You go die on top of that.
And you can go die, but you can't even make that decision to serve your country until you're 18. But you can make the decision to go through a full-blown sex change at 8 years old. So
that's the world we live in now.
How do we make it stop? It doesn't stop until the politicians get on board with the fact that they're continuously making up laws that are confusing people. I mean, I heard earlier today, randomly enough, and I remember this from years ago, and it's not on the same level as what we're talking about, but just kind of proving my point. California outlawed flavored tobacco.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you can't go get fucking strawberry flavor. I don't know. I don't chew or dip or whatever.
Yeah.
You can't go get fucking mint flavored tobacco legally in California. But again, at 8 years old, you can say, I feel like I'm a girl and get your fucking dick chopped off. Like, yo.
Yeah. So with that whole, I believe it's just the vape juice.
Whatever. It's child. Look,
still,
my point is less about that. It's more about the 8-year-old kid.
Yeah.
You're talking about
the focus.
Child mutilation.
Agreed.
Child mutilation is somehow legal. But whatever, smoking grape flavored vape tobacco is not.
But what is the objective with that? Why are they trying to get at these? They're getting at these kids early because that's when they're impressionable. They're not doing that with the adults, even though some of these teenagers are out of their damn minds too. But they're going at these little kids. But what is your agenda down the road? That's what I'm trying to figure out. You know what I'm saying? Like something's up, and they know it's up. And the fact that they're put who in their right, like, you know what I'm saying? And the fact that you can't really protect your munchkins from this BS is just crazy to me. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think right now that's exactly, I think what's wrong is that people, they don't know who they are, what they are. The basic question that you come out into this world kind of knowing, and I'm not saying that there's people out there that feel like they're trapped in another body. I'm not saying that that's not real. But the percentage of people out there that are like that, you're talking about a very slim population. This is just my personal opinion. Very slim part of our population. Because it's only now that this has become this thing. This, dare I say, fad. You know what I'm saying? Where you're now imposing, they're kind of like almost imposing this on it. Before this, something was like, you know what, hey, like
it's imposter syndrome.
What's going on? Well, yeah, and it's the thing about it. If you don't even know what sex you are, you can't even answer that basic question. Well, what else? You can't know anything else.
So look,
you know what I'm saying? Like, how can you sit there and say, well, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that? Like, I think people they don't know how to think. They don't know what to think.
We are.
There's no one to teach them how to think.
We are fucking up the generations to come before they even have a chance to succeed. And I borderline think it's a political agenda. I can't put my finger on it.
Absolutely,
I haven't really thought about it.
But
I know.
But what is the agenda though? What's the objective?
I don't know.
That's what I don't understand. Let me throw this. You won't know until down the road.
Right in line with this conversation. There's schools where you can't have the American flag flying in the classroom anymore, and they don't say the Pledge of Allegiance anymore.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of them like that now.
But the teachers can fly the rainbow flag,
and that's crazy.
So I'll ask you this, somewhat rhetorically. You don't have to answer because I'll answer regardless. But what does the rainbow flag represent?
Well, that's LGBTQ.
It represents,
or Hawaii.
Well, first of all, the T and the Q and everything else doesn't make any sense to me, right? Like, I don't even think the gays and the lesbians like the T's being part of their group because that's not the same thing, right? No. So here, I'll make this point. The rainbow flag represents a sexual preference. So you can advertise a sexual preference inside the classroom, but you can't have the American flag flying.
Oh, you can't say that you're a Christian either.
You can't say that you're a Christian. Well. And I dare say, like, if you're a straight boy, you're 8 years old, and you see a little blonde girl who's 8 years old sitting across from you, and you go and you say, hey, I think you're really pretty. I would like to kiss you because you're innocent, and maybe you saw it on some fucking rom-com or something like that. Or maybe you have parents that love each other like I do with my wife, and we actually kiss each other in front of our kids. I mean, it's not hardcore makeout sessions. I mean, I'm not ripping her clothes off. But we show affection to one another. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know? So, I mean, it's infuriating how backwards our society is right now, continuously bending to a minority, and all it's doing is creating more chaos. I'm not saying we shouldn't all be
Agreed.
equal. I'm sorry. I know I'm kind of rambling right now. I'm not saying we shouldn't all be equal.
Yeah.
We should all be equal. But equality
Where's the line
means
gonna
that
get
you're
drawn?
not giving priority to one over the other.
Agreed.
But right now, the minorities, if you will, whatever it may be, LGBT, alphabet people, like I just, these people who identify as fucking cats, you know what I mean? Like I don't understand how these people seem to have so much power.
Because everybody's so this, I think we are a society full of pussies. No one's gonna sit there and just, there's some people speaking up, but they get shouted out and they get canceled and all other BS. It's there is no balance. This whole thing's been turned upside down. You can, it's so crazy too. Like, this is what's so weird about it. Like let's just say in particular, like if you're not a fan of the LGBTQ community or just the movement, whatever, you're just like, that's not my cup of tea.
Which you and I have lots of friends in that community.
Yeah, like I don't. For me, like it doesn't faze me because I'm not. Let's just be clear. You're not going to see me at a parade saying, "Oh, I'm diehard," because I'm not that.
No,
I'm straight. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. However, I can still go have a drink with you and go hang out, and we can BS like humans. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have to hate. I don't have just because I don't hang out where you hang out and party at doesn't mean that we can't gather around and chat and talk about life and the world and our perspectives. Sure. You know what I'm saying? Like, however, like for instance, I don't do collard greens. I don't like them. You gonna shoot me? You know what I mean? Like everybody has their preference. But my thing is like people now, you can't say that you don't like something because of all the backlash you're going to catch. And I think this is why these schools, it's the same thing with these schools. I think it's just another way of it manifesting, right? The answer to me is it's not about taking the guns away. Let's just be clear. I don't give a damn what you do. This is not Japan. Japan, like they don't have any weapons out there. Granted, there's weapons out there, but they don't guns are not really a thing out there unless you're like part of certain factions, whatnot. Sure. However, out here, it ain't going to happen. There's always going to be guns. So for me, this is my personal opinion, my philosophy. What I do instead of telling my daughter, hey, guns are bad, run away from them. I'm like, hey, here's a Beretta. This is how you take it apart. Mm-hmm. This is how you put it back together. Let's go to the range. This is how you shoot it. This is how you know when it's ready to go and fire. This is how you know when it's safe. I teach her about this weapon, this tool, right? If someone goes crazy with a butcher knife, you going to lose your mind? No, but we use these things all the time. The lack of exposure freaks people out. You know what I'm saying? However, so like in my opinion, I don't think that you should be, I think people need to start packing, man. I think nobody likes a hard target. The reason why these guys are going after like these elementary schools, these universities, whatever, because they know that there's no one who's going to confront them. And they have however many minutes to get as many people as possible before the actual guys with guns can take them down. You know, and it's jacked up, but that's it. Now, if I knew that everyone in here could be potentially packing heat, and I may not even get my gun all the way out and aim before someone drops me, I'm going someplace else.
You're acting proper. You're not being stupid.
I mean,
let's go back.
That's just some normal stuff.
Let's go back Wild West. A million ways to die in the West. You know what I mean? Like when the world's biggest. You know what? I have a mentor who told me one time, we're not going to get back on track where we need to be socially or economically or anything until we get into another shoot 'em up war. I was like, what do you mean by shoot 'em up war? He goes, until we get into another Vietnam,
bodies need to drop.
Where bodies are dropping. And not a 9/11. 9/11 was, it lasted for a few months and then people were fucking over it. Like, until we get into a position where your opinion doesn't fucking matter because we have such a larger interest as a nation. People
Sets in.
aren't going to get recaged. They're going to continue to take advantage of the good, the easy times, right? That whole thing, right? Like hard times make hard men. Hard men make easy times make easy men, make soft men. So right now we have a bunch of soft men walking around. We've been in easy times for a long time.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you what, when the fucking balloon goes up and the bubble pops, we're going to find out who's hard and who's fucking soft. And all of a sudden, if you are soft, all the shit that gave you power before is going to give you nothing.
Well, shit. It's like, as soon as you get smacked in the mouth, everything changes. A lot of people talk all that blah, 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 blah.
Shit.
And you get slapped in the mouth. And next it's like, oh, shit. And now all that nonsense is gone. Now you have to deal with the harsh reality. I think that's definitely a big problem with us, is that we're too fat, dumb, and happy. There's no harsh reality we're actually dealing with out here to make us be like, okay, what truly is what we need to be doing right now? Should we be worrying about? Now, granted, like I said,
life isn't fair, though. It's not fair to me because I wasn't born with millions of dollars, so you should just give them to me.
Yeah. I told this to my girlfriend. I was just like, you know what? And I heard her complaining. She was just kind of whining about things. I was like, you know what? Do you see what the things that she was complaining about? Very insignificant, very trivial. I was like, so imagine if, I don't know, you lived in the Ukraine right now, dealing with war on a daily basis. How much does that fucking matter? She was like, I was like, imagine you live in, let's just say, Israel, and everybody who's your neighbor wants you dead. And you've got ladies out there, not only does she have the baby in her arms, but she's packing an AK on her back. How much does that fucking matter? Do you think what you're talking about to her? So I was like, you got to have perspective.
You have to have perspective.
Like, we don't live in this isn't real. We live in this is make-believe BS
well,
everywhere.
Hold on, let's be clear. There's a different terminology here. You have to have global perspective. People have perspective in their little fucking world where they think that their shit doesn't stink and their problems are the biggest problems in the world. You have to have global understanding and perspective to realize how insignificant your fucking life is.
I agree. Well, this is why I always say, you know what? I think everybody needs to do time in some type of public service. I'm not saying you have to do the military, and I don't say you have to do that. But I say you either, cause like, for instance, Korea, you automatically go in the military. And Israel is the same thing. I think out here in the States, now granted, we have a little
Russia, I think
bitches around. But I think, it's like mandatory service minimum. I think 1 enlistment and you're done.
And it's
2 years, however long. So my thing is that go do Peace Corps. That's fine. If you don't want to do the military, go Peace Corps. They should have, like, let's say, various options, right? I don't give a damn what you set out to do, because 9 times out of 10 people don't know what the hell they want to do anyway, right? I want to be on Instagram. I don't give a shit. Go out there and go someplace else and go help build a village out in the middle of Brazil somewhere, or go, I don't know, help some business owner in some remote part of the Congo, where you don't know the language. You're not in your little mommy and daddy's house anymore. You probably, let's just say you're in Tanzania in particular, and they don't have, you're in like a fucking hut or some shit. And people are dying from basic things that we take for granted these days, like basic stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because, a friend, she went out there and did a couple months, and she was like, yo, she was like, she wished she had the equipment that she had out here in the States, because she was like, there's people just dying off stuff that, like, I could have patched that up and they would have been good to go. They could have walked out the next day, but people are getting canceled out by simple things. So imagine the mentality now where you've got that in you. You've had that experience in you. You come back home. It's just like, whoa, like, wow. Now you don't take nothing for granted. So like, you take it less for granted. At least you have something that kind of it grounds you. Ain't nobody grounded out here. And the thing about it is, it's not about some American dream no more. Oh, that's down the toilet. That's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? At this point now, it's all about getting your likes up. This fake love. People are depressed because they think fake love is real love. They need millions of followers, millions of people to like their crap. That's what they think in their head. But then they have like a loyal 5 that they take for granted, probably. You know, so it's all screwed up, and nobody. And the thing about this whole social media thing came so fast, and it came so hard, and it's jacking with people's psychology. There's nobody really knows like anything. You know what I'm saying? Because so right now we are being. It's like one big test tube. You know what I'm saying? It's one big like it's we're seeing how the impact, the influence of this technology in real time, what's going on, you know, and the outcome of it. Who knows? Who knows? You know, I don't know. And the things I agree. I think it's going to have to be a shootout for people to finally get their heads out of their asses and being like, okay, we've been playing games. And see, and this is what I hope. This is what I hope. I hope that deep down we can still handle business when it's game time. I do hope that. You know, I wanted to say that this is just us kind of just being comfortable and just talking our shit out here in the States in general, you know. But if someone was to no shit come over here and try to mess with us, we're gonna be like, oh, okay, like you thought that this was just me in a skirt and like I'm still packing heat, you know what I'm saying? Like, or whatever, and we're gonna defend, and we could put that to the side and go handle business, you know. I don't have 100% confidence in that, though.
I have 100% confidence in our military and our ability to execute any
or military
any threat that comes our way. But what I don't have confidence in is the fact that if we needed additional people in the military, let's say that we, you know, imposed a draft again, and we start sucking people up left and right, we're going to have people defecting all over the place, and they're not going to fucking learn anything. They're going to be scared for a little bit, maybe, you know, but I just...
Do you think the quality, say, so like, you know, WW2, they drafted folks. The World Wars, they were drafting motherfuckers, right?
It was a different
kind of a guy. There's a different kind of a person back then, though. So the quality of the
you and I think
now,
men were men then. And what's crazy is they probably thought that their grandfathers were fucking men, you know, come 1800s, pioneers, you know, like, you know, cruising around in fucking wagons and, you know, like if you cross me or step on my property, I'm just going to drop you.
Yeah, there's not even
it's not even a question.
But you're also, it's that mentality though, right? Like it's you're talking about like the guys that we grew up watching, seeing, you know, coming out of being 80s babies, going through the 90s, and then seeing this shift. Whereas like guys back then, like we were like, they were just a harder individual. You know what I'm saying? Like, and not to say that they saw it, but like life wasn't just like this sit on my phone and do nothing, like, and everything come to me. It's very, very cush. So for me, I think that the only like legit like America, like what America is about is the military, you know, only because of the fact that you've got entire world that's in our military, right? Getting along together, hanging out together. There's people that are gay. There are people that are trans, but yet we're still hanging out together, getting along together. And there's none of this extra BS that these civilians are dealing with, you know? So I'm not, you know, I don't know if a draft comes in, the quality of the person is not gonna be the same. I don't think there is no sense of duty to go handle business and keep the BS down there, as opposed to it coming out here now you're having to deal with that in your face. We'll see. It would be interesting though. I hope it doesn't come to that. And if it does, hopefully I'm able-bodied enough to actually like participate.
Look, I mean,
you know, I don't want to be old as dirt. Just kill me.
You chimed in on it too. I mean, look, like this is not a gay lesbian bashing session. You know, for anybody who wants to sit here and try to question us otherwise. I mean, we serve with gay people. We serve with lesbians. We, you know, whatever. We serve with straight people, white, black, fucking Asian, like it. We all flavors, right? We serve with all of them. We have friends in our inner circle who are all of the above. You know what I mean?
Mm.
This is not a bashing session. This is very much just people need to come to grips with what reality actually is. Because when reality sets in and that dose comes, and it's going to come heavy and it's going to come swift, you need to be prepared. Because posting your emotions on some social media outlet is not going to save your ass. And getting back to what you said earlier, the question you asked, like, how do we stop people from doing all this stuff? We kind of went off on a bit of a tangent, but that's step one. Step one is until everyone has a legitimate dose of reality, of fatality, and understanding, you know, that life is precious again, and you don't just get what the fuck you want when you want it. You can't just whine and complain and say things aren't fair and have some political party, bullshit fucking party go, oh, you know what? That's going to be really good for ratings if we get on board with that. So now all of a sudden you have political support, and now you're just getting handed out free fucking cheddar. Meanwhile, I'm over here paying fucking thousands of dollars in taxes a paycheck a month, you know, from my different revenue streams to support other people sitting at home and just fucking complaining.
Well, that's definitely, unfortunately, a thing. Shit, I tell that I said something to the same thing to the same effect to my girlfriend, because like I said, she likes to mope and complain about how hard life is. I'm like, you know what, man, you need to harden up, because there's things that happen, like shit. That's, man, you know, the horrible earthquake in Turkey. Like, was it last week? I saw that the death toll was only at 7K. Now it's 41,000 plus. I'm like, oh my God.
Shit.
But like, you know, that was another example I gave her. I was like, would you rather be out there in Turkey right now dealing with that? So my thing is just that I think that the rest of the world is harder than us. And when I say hard, like they understand reality and what it truly is. It's not about IG. It's not about, you know, everything. I'm trying. If you think, and do not let these stupid social media or anybody else tell you this. If you think the point of life is to be happy every single day, you're failing. You are truly failing. That is not the point of life. No. It's not about, I should be smiling. I should be in this joyous mood every single day where just life is great, da, 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 da. And I shouldn't feel the other side. I shouldn't feel pain. I shouldn't feel sadness. I shouldn't feel depressed. These things happen. It's life. It's part of the human experience. It's inevitable that you're going to feel this. So don't sit there and think that like, oh, I need some meds because I'm a little bogged down for a couple days because this didn't go my way. Oh, like, how do I deal? Like, yo, like the goal is to be content. You don't want to get too high. You don't want to get too low. But be nice
you
and
have
just
to, there's balance there. I mean, and the thing is, like you said, when people suppress that the ultimate, like the universal balance, right? Like you have a bad day. Oh my God, I just need a Xanax. Fucking why? You had a bad day. Learn how to deal with it. And the next time you have a day like that, it won't be as bad. Or maybe you'll learn from it instead of fucking drugging yourself to get over it. And then you just continue to, it's fucking psychotic. It's psychotic to sit here and go, oh man, I had a bad day. Let me pop a Xanax and put on my fucking heels. And I'm sorry, I'm not women bashing. Okay. I'm sure that's what it sounds like, but that's not what I'm fucking doing. Okay. But I know more women that pop Xanax and then put on their fucking stilettos and go to the club and drink vodka all night. You know what I mean? To suppress, you know, their fucking anxiety or their issues, whatever it may be. I know way more girls that do that than guys. Okay. And what's crazy is that I have guys who are like fucking men, you know, and we suppress it too. We do. Look, alcohol is a drug. 100%. I drink it down, and I do it almost nightly.
Yeah. And not to say that
but you also don't see me. But here's the difference. You also don't see me advertising it on social media.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have me advertising, boo-hooing my fucking feelings, and please feel sorry for me and show me digital love because that's what I need to survive. Yeah. No, I turn my phone off. I turn Chris Stapleton on, I grab a bottle of whiskey
Mm-hmm.
and a cigar, and I go sit by myself for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I just fucking be. And I think maybe I call my homie Salt to get some additional perspective, right? Because that's what we've been talking about. Like, and it
Mm-hmm.
helps. It helps, you know?
Agreed.
And I call different people. I call different people
For
for
various
various
things.
things.
Absolutely.
My
And I think they, and you know, these therapists are having a field day right now,
my
right?
wine is
I mean,
empty.
just they're having a blast because there's so many fragile people running around. Listen, man, you get you this one strong-minded individual in your world. You don't need a therapist. Save your money. Someone that you can not only boohoo to, but someone's going to give it back to you real, like honest, in terms of they have survived some things. And now that they can impart some type of structure or at least give you some type of guidance in terms of how you can unfuck yourself. You know what I mean? This is what was happening. This is what I was given by people who cared about me when I was going through my dark times. And I had a person who would listen to me and I would bitch and I would be like, you know, and granted, like my bitching is more so just extreme silence and a lack of activity, like a lack of energy, which is like usually I'm kind of like when I'm out in the world, I'm a little more engaged. This person saw me kind of like not be that way. It was just like, yo, something's off. Like, what's up with this dude? You know? But I had someone to sit there and be like, you know what? Hey, help guide me, right? Like, here's a good idea. Try this. Here's a good idea. Try this. And as much as I might have like fought it, I was like, yeah, okay, like, you know, whatever. It can't hurt, I guess, you know. But to have that, someone who they can hear what you're saying and then they can interpret everything you're saying because they've been through it. They understand what you're talking about. Now it's okay, like, yes, you got this going on. This is what you can do to fix that. Now it's up to you to put in the work. Now, 9 times out of 10, I'm just like this. People already know the answer. However, no one's willing to do what it takes to actually change it. It's easier and it feels better to just bitch and complain and everybody be like, yeah, like, oh, now that person for me, get the fuck away from me. You know what I'm saying? Because you're only going to get 1 or 2, at best 3. And now I'm going to start speaking truth, right?
And they're going to
that
get
truth
their
is going to be my honest opinion.
hurt and yeah.
Boom. And then now it's like, so, and for me at that point, I'm like, well, you're not out here trying to actually like level up. You just want somebody to just bitch to and complain, and which is fine. But I get ghosts.
You don't want answers. You just want to waste my time.
Yeah. So that's my thing. Do the hard thing. Do what's hard. You know, just do what's hard. The hard thing is to actually sit down and be disciplined. You know, the hard thing, you know, like shit, you know, like whatever the case might be, just find some people that can be honest with you and give you some type of perspective. And that's all it is. Just get some perspective. Just know that you are not unique. Okay. You're not unique. Everybody goes through some shit. You understand? I done been through some shit. Papa's done been through some shit. Your parents done been through some shit. And it's not until you get older that you can be like, you know what? Damn. Like I actually didn't have it that bad. You know, because now you're going to get perspective as you get older. Because now, guess what? The one thing that people keep fucking around with is their time. And I promise you this. And granted, I'm not some old dude. However, I can see it now just because I've had my life flash before my eyes a few times. I mean, and one thing I do not fuck around with is the fact that today is done.
Mm-hmm.
And every year that I get older, my years get faster and faster and faster. And one day, and I saw this on YouTube the other day, this guy was like, you know what? He said, I got out of bed. He's like, oh, like my back aches, my shoulder aches, my knees are cracking and creaking. And then he's like, oh man, like what the hell is going on? He said he went to the mirror. He went to the bathroom, looked in the mirror. He's like, oh, snap. I said, I'm 75. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
And he's like, it's just kind of just happens. The next you know, you're just like, yo, like, how did I get here? So don't live with regrets. Like, you know, Papa has said this in the past. You know what I'm saying? Take advantage now. Go after it now. And then let the cards fall as they may, but at least be on the hunt. Be in pursuit of that thing. Become the best person you can be. unfuck your head. You know what I'm saying? Get out there, dig into the books, go take chances, go do all those different things, because that is where you're going to get that experience that we're talking about. Like, granted, you don't have to go all the way out there to say to the Congo or nothing like that. But if you're going to sit there and be safe and you want to be comfortable and you don't want to take any risks because your anxiety, my anxiety bothers me. This girl, I was borderline livid. This girl, I was out in Seattle. It's like a few days ago. I'm in Seattle. We're in this booth. It's like 8 of us. And I just happened, it got kind of quiet. Ladies bringing out drinks. This table over there. All I heard this girl say, like, I just couldn't do it. My anxiety just got so bad and I just had to leave. And granted, I didn't hear the whole thing, but all I heard was anxiety. And I just got just irritated when I heard that word, because that is such a cop out to me. And granted, I understand what anxiety is about. It's like public speaking. I fucking hate it. I hate it with passion, but I don't let it prevent me from doing what I have to do.
It doesn't debilitate you though.
Man. But the thing is, you have to work through that.
You do.
But nobody wants to do that. But kind of go back to what we were talking about before with, I feel depressed, pop a Xanax. No. Go do it.
You need to experience those lows so that you know how to deal with them when they come without popping pills. Look, man,
and develop coping mechanisms.
You said something a minute ago, and it reminded me of another great tidbit of advice that I've kind of lived by. I think I got this when I was 16, 17 years old. I had a friend tell me, don't spend your time regretting what you've done. Spend your time doing things you won't regret.
Oh, exactly.
I mean, you can learn from the past, but learn in the moment. And then fucking dead it. Remember what you need to take away from that. But then just fucking move on. Move on and live your life. I have seen some fucking lows, dude. I've been in some fucking dark places before, man. And I mean, you know most of my stories, but I mean, I've just, and I mean, we're well over an hour right now, so I'll try to keep it short. But it just, dude, the thing is I didn't go see some psychiatrist. I didn't go see some counselor. I called my best friends at the time in those moments, and and they fucking helped me with what it was I needed. You've been there for me during some of my moments where I'm like, I'm losing my fucking mind, and at a minimum, I think you know me well enough to know that in those moments, I'm just gonna let Papa talk. I'm gonna listen to him. I'm gonna make sure he's fairly sane when we get off the phone, but ultimately, it's just me working through it with someone else on the phone. And that part I get. If you need someone to talk to, go fucking talk to people. Absolutely. Yeah. But don't numb yourself from those emotions and those feelings, because all you're doing is debilitating yourself. You're removing your ability to cope and to.
So that's absolutely no, the coping, right? It's something, what's so crazy? It's wild to me. There's all these different agencies and advocates for mental health and all this other stuff out there, right? But on some level, though, I feel like it's also having those outlets is what's crippling folks. For instance, like you said, back in the day, you were in a dark place, whatever, and you had to call a friend, you had to do these different things, right? But then there's they were able to kind of, even if they had just had to sit there and listen, you were able to work it out in your head, right? Just talking about it, you just kind of okay, I got this. You start making sense of things, everyone's waiting for this therapist to fix them instead of doing something like that. Where you doing that, you're developing this coping mechanism.
But they're not taking actions to develop anything. The only action they're taking is, boo-hoo, woe is me, give me drugs so I can make it stop.
Well, exactly. Stop. But that stuff should not be. That's what I'm saying. The drugs and these people pumping this stuff into them, right? And I'm not saying alcohol is any better, but you can't deal if they've shut down that part your mind, you know? Like, I mean, what if they, you know, why is it so bad to feel bad?
It's part of life.
I don't understand
It's
that.
learning.
Yeah, but they don't want you to have that. They don't want you to feel depressed. It's like the worst thing on the planet. Whereas, like, I tell this to my kid, I'm like, yo, you need to embrace both sides, not just the good, but also the bad. There is life, no doubt, but there's also death. You know what I'm saying? Just like there's daytime, there's nighttime. I was like, you cannot sit there and avoid this whole part of the world. Like, this is half of life that you're saying no to. And every time you even look at it, brush up against it, you freak out. Like it's not supposed to be there. Like it's the boogeyman. Mm-hmm. That's not how this works. You need to be like, oh, okay, well, it's like people scared of the dark, right? But they're scared of everything that has to do with what they consider to be dark, right? That is not how this place works. You have to love it. Just like even who you are. Like for me, I'm going to tell you like this. There is the darker side to me that I don't even particularly care for. However, it wasn't until I actually embraced that side of me that I was like, you know what? Okay, that's just what it is. This is who we are. It's understood, you know? But I'm not going to sit there and deny that all the time. I just keep it in check. There's a time when I have to be more, where my ego needs to be suppressed. And there's times where I feel like, you know what? You need to get in there because right now this other side of us ain't working. So the ego needs to kick in, you know, but there's a time and place. There's a time for me to be like, you know, calm. Hey, you know, let's talk it out. Let's be civilized. There's another time when I'm gonna have to just fuck you up. That's just it. Case closed. You see what I'm saying? So there's time and place for everything, but everything's not happy, joy. You know what I'm saying? It's just not that. So if you need some time alone, did have some time alone. For me, what I used to do and what I still do sometimes, I just turn on some Netflix. Is awesome. You just turn on some stand-up comedy. That changes my mood almost borderline instantaneously, hearing some stupid jokes about whatever. And I'm just like, you know, I feel better hearing a Bill Burr go off on a rant. It puts my whole life in perspective. I'm like, you know what? You know, he's venting. He's venting for me on the microphone. Because this is things that I would love to do. But unfortunately, the way it comes off, I'm not doing it in an artistic format where it comes off as comedy. It's just me going off and I'm chewing people out and they're walking away feeling less than their best. So, I mean, you know, like, I don't know.
Ass chewing, man. It's part of life,
man. No, you know, and I think that's coming. It's coming for us here in the States. And I think there's going to be a rude awakening. I think a lot of these bandwagoners with some of these trends that are going out there in the world are going to snap back to what they were supposed to be in the first place. And a lot of this is going to equalize, just like our market very soon. It's going to stabilize.
Well, you know what?
But yeah, man.
I hope to catch you on the upswing of all of that.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, brother.
So
on that note, man.
Yeah, man.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Yeah. Happy Valentine's Day. And it's the most depressing Valentine's ever. All right. I'll catch you later. All right. Peace.